Here we are on the other side of the Super Bowl, and, once again, the Philadelphia Eagles are world champions. I'm sure for those of you who either don't care about football or are not Philadelphia Eagles fans, you're kind of happy to move forward with no more talk about this business, right? Well, there's always room for one more picture, right? While this is, beautiful, and while it's up, let me apologize for anyone who tried to get into contact with me early this week or was wondering why it took so long to get stuff graded. I actually got really sick the night of the Super Bowl, and no, it had nothing to do with celebrating. My kids gave me one hell of a cold, and I spent the early part of the week in bed. Anyway, now that I'm at least moving around again, let's get started, okay? As always, here's the weekly announcement. It's still a little bit bulky because we're still starting off, but make sure to read through all of it. All necessary information and links are right here for you to see. It should be posted clearly on the opening page of our class page, as well as emailed to your Delaware Tech emails. No excuses. So everything you see is here. Everything you need to do is right here, including the Unit 1 Topic Development Brainstorm Part 2. This does not have a due date attached to it in the calendar. That is a known bug of the system. It is not my fault. I am telling you right now, though, that this is due by Sunday, February 23rd, 2025. Make sure to get it done, okay? But if the announcements aren't kind of your jam, then let's go over here to view the course schedule. Click on the masterclass schedule right here. And you're going to scroll down beyond Week 1A, which you've already done, Week 1B, which hopefully you've already done, and you're going to get to Week 2. So as you can see, the dates are February 17th to February 23rd. That's what you're going to be doing this week. You're going to be reading these 4 documents. If you need some help with your debatable topic, email me. Look through the databases. Look through the debatable topic list. That's fine. And then you are going to once again participate in the Unit 1 Topic Development Brainstorm Part 2. Again, this does not appear on the calendar because it's a known bug. However, at the very top here, you can see the schedule. Please remember that all assignments are due by 11:59 p.m. Eastern on the last day of the associated week, which would be a Sunday, and that would be Sunday, February 23rd, okay? So that's got to be done, as well as the Unit 1 Progress Checkpoint. We will go through all of them very, very shortly. Now, to start, let's jump into choosing search terms for sources right here. It's a quick shot of understanding where to start with search terms. Truthfully, I'm not too keen on this page, so some of the information is nowhere near detailed enough, and some of it is antiquated and incorrect. So let me give you some ideas. The research plan here is a solid one with some tweaks. You're already selecting the database, academic topic, and you obviously must read more about the topic. Your research questions must be developed and listed, and then you create search terms to look for sources. See the problem? In order to read more about your topic, you have to search for the sources. So how can you read in the second step when you're searching in the fourth? Basically, you need to select that topic, generate the research questions, get those search terms, and then find the sources to read. Once you do that, then you can go back and ask better questions or revise the old ones and do the process over again. It is so much more cyclical and less only 4 steps. Now, this next part, well, I disagree with this almost completely. First, there was a search engine in the days before man went on social media that was called Ask Jeeves. Yeah, that's him. The only way to get what you wanted was to ask Jeeves, this cartoon butler, by the way. He was kind of like a dorky Alfred from Batman. Well, you would ask him a question, a literal question, people. Just because Jeeves has long since retired doesn't mean that you can't still ask questions if you can't get started. Right? Now, the point that whomever wrote this page was trying to get across was that the volume of words that you use within a search will affect the returning results. The more words you put in, the less results you get back. The less words you put in, the more results you get back. Why? Well, the search looks for all the words that you mentioned. So a search too specific means you're going to miss something. If you put in medical practice Gettysburg, you might actually get results telling you that the Gettysburg Medical College also practices golf on Thursdays. You'd have to add certain keywords like Civil War in quotes, and take out certain things like adding a hyphen for minus or the word golf to eliminate that result. These are also called Boolean or Boolean operators, and they can use a plus sign or a minus sign or the words and or to manipulate the words accordingly, as you can see here, and. But you don't have to not ask a question. That's just ridiculous. Underneath, there's yet another absolute need by one of the instructors downstate to use Credo. Even though this is my least favorite database engine that we have access to, you're still 100% welcome to use it. I showed you this in the first week. You are not required to use it. I think SIRS is much nicer. I think EBSCOhost the best, truthfully, but SIRS is great. But I really despise Credo. And if it's something you're comfortable with, continue to use it. Absolutely. I am not going to tell you no if you can find some good sources with it. But as you can see here, they love this little cute mind map thing, and you can find the Credo reference here. And again, if you go to the Delaware Tech homepage, make sure that you're on Student Resources. Student Success Toolbox, Library. Under here on Databases, we have all the database that you need, including, yes, Credo. It's the only reason it's the first on the list is because, ladies and gentlemen, C comes well before D, E, F, I, K, L, N, N, P, P, R, S, and S. That's it. It's not number one. It's just alphabetically relevant. All right. Anyway, you can look at all this, and that's the Credo, okay? Now, going back, we can look at finding sources on the internet, and there we go. It's a pretty basic page, but it's necessary to remind you of one of the most important rules for looking for anything on the internet. Just because it's on the web does not mean it's true. It's unbelievable how many people still believe that. So this page is here to keep that in your head. Just because you can find it with a few clicks doesn't mean it's worthwhile. I would recommend watching this video here on Google search tricks, because while all of you Google things, very few of you know the different tips and tricks which make your searches more powerful. So there's a lot of really good stuff here. You can actually click on the link to figure out what it is in YouTube, and I'll actually provide a link in the announcement as well. But that's really helpful. The site operator is actually incredibly helpful. I have actually used the site edu to find things that come back with such amazing sources, and you don't have to worry about it because it's coming from a legitimate educational site. You're not just getting somebody who's pretending that they know what they're talking about. So it's really a good idea to start figuring out how to use Google correctly. Then down here, it'll show you again how to use the search operators like and or. It's the Boolean. You can combine things. I want to look for childhood obesity on only government websites that also feature the term food stamps. That's great. Okay, so as we look through this, there's another section down here that shows you helpful websites. Now, just so we don't go back and forth, I want to read off a couple of these. Statista is a great one, and it is coming from the databases, but it's also a redirected login from Delaware Tech. So make sure you go there. And this is a .com. Then we have some online news magazines. Now, theeconomist.com, Harper's Magazine.org, theinsider.com, npr.org, newsweek.com, newyorktimes.com, popularscience.com, psychologytoday.com. Now, you're going to hear me say .com for Scientific American, U.S. News and World Report, Wall Street Journal, and the Washington Post. Okay, great. So I just need you to remember that because we're going to talk about that in just a second. But down here we have also some really good governmental websites that are going to help you. Lately, there has been a little bit of data expunging going on with the United States government pages. So be very careful as to tell me that you can't find certain sources or you can find certain sources, because what was there last year at this time may not be there any longer. Okay? Just be open to the fact that maybe you might want to look somewhere else. Okay? Then we get down into the part of the page that I start to have a lot of problems with, which is ironic because it's called problematic websites. First, they talk about Wikipedia. It is not a problematic website, okay? It is a tool that is misused, but it's a good place to get a general understanding of your topic. Don't be afraid to go there because your high school English teacher was lazy. Also, don't ignore all .coms, which is down here at commercial websites, simply because your English teacher told you so. That's also being lazy. If we go back up to this helpful website again, the vast majority of all these ones that somebody actually took the time to list are .coms. What they mean down here, a commercial website, is something that is specifically trying to sell you something. Now, if you can't imagine the fact that the New York Times is trying to sell you a subscription to the New York Times, then you're deluded. But everybody here is trying to sell you something. But they're also trying to give you enough information that you can trust them. Okay? So it's perfectly fine. Now, Wikipedia. Procon.org. I am not a huge fan of this website because it doesn't really give you one side or the other. It gives you kind of the whole picture in a very vague way. It doesn't lock into one side or the other. It's not a great argument. It's basically, this is what everything is. So when you start to use these things, I'm going to tell you, don't use Procon. Because when you find a source, you need to have a source that shows you one side or the other side, not one that shows you both. Then, University Wire. University Wire is not a bad website. It's just a collection of student writing. So this student writing may not be as clear and well thought out as it should be. So please avoid using University Wire. I really shouldn't have to talk too much about personal blogs and websites, because I hope everybody understands that a personal blog is the opinions of the person writing it. Granted, sometimes they are really, really reputable, and they do a lot of good research, but for the most part, they're idiots who just want to get their opinions out there. And the people that I'm talking about are the ones that write the mommy blogs, who, despite the fact that the scientific community has said for decades that vaccines don't cause autism, Jenny McCarthy still has a blog that says it does. No. Ignore them, okay? So these are the places that you should really think very hard about, okay? Fantastic. Going back, we will now look at finding journal articles. Boom. There we go. Now, this won't be a long one, I promise. I think it's a long-standing misconception by students and teachers alike that source material has to be incomprehensible and lofty to be any good. Don't get me wrong. There are many, many absolutely brilliant sources out there that are superbly written, impeccably researched, and peer-edited to the next level that are amazing compliments to anyone's research. But when do you actually need them? Now, you're currently enrolled in what amounts to be a freshman composition course. This is practically the same course that you would have at any accredited college anywhere in the country. You are learning how to put this material together, and you are learning how to make a voice heard. What you do not need are these amazingly intricate academic journals that are geared towards those in master's level and doctorate level programs, as well as those beyond them. It would be like asking my second grader to read To Kill a Mockingbird. While he might be able to get most of the words correct, he'd probably not be able to grasp the threads between the ideas. It's not because he's not smart. It's because he doesn't have the necessary experience yet, and that's what I'm trying to tell you. What I'm trying to say is this. I want you to look at your research and do your topic academic justice. I want to see you dip your toe in and wade into these databases to find these wonderful journals. But don't expect to have immediate comprehension. There are things that you really need to work hard at to understand. So if you say, Mr. Christopher, I have 2 articles here on pulsed field ablation helping arrhythmias from the Journal of American Medical Association and the New England Journal of Medicine, I'll say, fantastic. Can you please explain them to me, because I'm not really versed enough to understand the top 2 medical journals in the world. Can you help me? Then, after your jaw gets picked up off the floor, we can try to find more accessible source material to use. So all of this here will show you kind of the databases, which I showed you earlier. Back over here, library, databases, all's right there. And it'll show you, we have an EBSCO host idea here. It shows you how to use EBSCO, what types of sources here. But honestly, the vast majority of you are going to find a little bit easier sources to understand at this level. As you go deeper into your education, you will find these journals easier to read than when you started. Guaranteed. You're all that smart. Okay? And finally, we end up with evaluating sources. So clicking there takes us here. And the scholarly sources here are the sources written for a high-level audience, edited by experts in the field, and published in recognizable sources. They are the best of the best, but they aren't always the best for you. Remember my example just now about my 2nd grader reading To Kill a Mockingbird? Try this one. If you find an article that you're told is brilliant, but it's written in Swahili and you don't speak Swahili, what good is it? Use only sources that you can understand and sources that fit with your audience awareness. So telling you what a scholarly source is, what are some other ones, so there you go. Yay, you can look right through them. But now, I want to spend the rest of the time of this page talking about CRAAP. No, silly. Not poop. CRAAP. And not even just simple crap. I'm talking about CRAAP. I mean, really, what good is this semester without a good poop joke, right? I mean, am I even teaching if I don't even go there? Anyway, CRAAP is an acronym that helps us determine if a source material is worth our time or not. In short, is the source crap or not? Now, there's videos embedded in the page that you can look through, but I want to look at this CRAAP test poster real quick to kind of show you the 5 elements of what CRAAP is. Okay, as you can see here, it's C-R-A-A-P. C for currency. It has to do with the timeliness of the information. It's got nothing to do with money. It's got to do with, hey, when was this written or updated? Then we have relevance. Does it actually match what you need it to do? Or is it just something that kind of sounds good but doesn't really work? Authority. The source of the information. Who wrote it? Where was it published? Who edited it? That's always a word that just trips. Accuracy. This is an easy one. Is it true or not? Can you find this information on other websites, and then does it match? And then finally, purpose. The reason the information exists. Now, there are 3 general purposes I want you to remember. And if you always forget them, then think with your stomach. Think about my favorite dessert, pie. P-I-E. Persuade, inform, entertain. So one of the 3 general purposes might be to persuade you, to convince you of something, to inform you, just to educate you on something, or to entertain you, to make you happy, sad, angry. That will all help. So as you go through and you evaluate your sources, take a look over here. We've got 4 bullet points. We've got 4 bullet points. We've got 5 bullet points, 5 bullet points, and 4 bullet points. So all of these questions can be answered in at least a sentence, and all of a sudden, your evaluations become that much more detailed. That's the gist. It's something you've heard in English 101. It's something you'll continue to hear here. It's worthwhile, but you won't have to do it this as much as the level of detail you get. You get better at it. You'll just know. Anyway, there it is. So, let's talk again about your 2 assignments for the week, and I can make them not as quick as I would like because this progress checkpoint I want to go over. But the discussion board is going to be relatively quick. So clicking on there, you will see here, I want you to answer 3 prompts. 1, 2, 3, right here, okay? And then down here, what I did is I have given you my ideas of what I wanted to try for your topics, okay? I've given you a sample post here, and I've told you exactly why I wanted you to do this for me, for my audience. So what topic will you be researching? I'm going to research Global Cybersecurity Task Force. Fantastic. Why is this topic interesting or important to me and my audience? Oh, well, for me, I want to do it this. For my audience, for this. And what are 3 possible debatable questions that you could have? Okay, great. Now, if you're having trouble with debatable questions, I do not have a problem if you consult ChatGPT for debatable questions, because that's just going to start you thinking about which direction to go with your paper. You are not using ChatGPT to write your paper. So if you would like to use it and just come up with a debatable question, that's great. I would like you to attempt them, though, okay? That would be helpful. There we go. Now, the biggest assignment is the progress checkpoint, which I am using a planner for. The original planner that's provided wasn't really terrible, but I didn't like it, so I redid it. Clicking on here brings you into here, and as you can see, I want you to complete a Unit 1 Exploratory Research Planner that's right here. You click on this, and this lovely document pops up. Yes, it's a 5-page document, but as you can see here, most of it is formatting. You won't be typing 5 pages. Relax. So, let me go through each step really quickly so you can understand what's what, all right? So, I want you to give me your general topic. What are you trying to accomplish, okay? DUI penalties, cyber terrorism, whatever you're going to put down here, just give me the idea so it kind of keeps you focused as well. And then what I've done for the paper you're going to write next week, not this week, you are going to have 1 paragraph, 2 paragraphs, 3 paragraphs, 4 paragraphs, 5 paragraphs, 6 paragraphs. You're going to have a minimum of 6 paragraphs. Now, I say minimum because the evaluation of source 1 and the evaluation of source 2 might stretch into a 2nd paragraph depending on how detailed you are. But a minimum of 6 paragraphs, okay? So I've labeled that for you. It's as clear as I can make it, okay? So your introduction will be a single paragraph. I want you to talk to me about maybe what's a possible attention getter that you might want to use for your topic. Is there anything that people would have to know to understand the basics of your topic? Now, if you're talking about the death penalty, probably not. If you're talking about deforestation, probably not. But if you're talking about global cyber terrorism or gene editing using CRISPR, well, guess what? Those are a lot more detailed and technically advanced, so you might want to bring up some basic vocabulary for your readers. What is one side of the debate around your argument? I want you to start thinking of this in terms of one side or another side. Do not just think of it as, I want to write about cancer. Okay, fantastic. What's the argument? Tell me what one side is. Tell me what the other side is. And then finally, your preliminary thesis. Now, preliminary is a nice big word that just means to start. So, your preliminary thesis tells me, what is my starting position on this topic? Okay? I think a global cyber terrorism task force is a good idea. Okay? There you go. Then we get into paragraph 2. Now, you can see paragraph 2 starts here and stretches down a few boxes because all of these are the summary portion. So the first thing I want you to do is establish your rhetorical information. It's just a fancy way of saying, tell me who the authors are. When was it written or updated? Remember, it's got to be within 5 years. 2019 or later, folks. Title of article. What is the title? Source. Where'd it come from? Okay? Did it come from the New York Times? Did it come from CNN? Did it come from the Journal of the American Psychological Association? Okay, give me some of that. And then if you got it from a website, which you shouldn't, you should get it off of, the databases. Give me the URL. Tell me what it is. Okay? Okay. Initial sentence. Now, this is a sentence blank that you can just fill in. And again, just click in the white boxes. Okay? Just click in the white boxes. And as you type, you can type whatever you want. And you can see that the box will grow and shrink depending on how much you type or don't type. So, in the article, title. Published in, date. Located in, website. The authors, provide the view that, thesis. What was the original author's thesis statement? Okay, you put those pieces of information in there, you've got the initial sentence for your first summary written perfectly. Then we go down here, and I kind of want to know, what's the overall view of the author? Basically, are you taking things out of context, or did the original author tell you, no, we need to have it this way? Okay. And then give me some major details. Give me some major ideas. Look at some of the most important points of the article that you're using and isolate the topic sentences. Figure out which ones the author is resting his or her or their argument on. And then you're going to give an associated citation. The citation's very easy. It's going to be last name, year, and then the paragraph or the page number. And honestly, that shouldn't change from citation to citation except for the paragraph number. Okay? Then we get down to the evaluation. We talked about CRAAP, right? So basically, answer these questions. Use the bullet points to answer these questions, these prompts. There were 4 here, 4 here, 5 here, 5 here, and 4 here. So you shouldn't have any problem giving me something more than just, it is current. It is relevant. Authority is good. I've seen that. No matter how many times I lecture on this, I've seen those ridiculously short and underdeveloped ideas, and nobody gets a good grade on it. So please, give me details. What are the strengths of the source, the weaknesses of the source? Then you're going to do the exact same thing over again for your second source that you found. Okay? So there it is. Once you're done that, we go down and we finish with the conclusion. Basically answer these prompts, and then try to work on 2 of your references. I actually give you a link to the Purdue OWL website right here. So if you click here, it'll bring up the Purdue OWL website. You can go through it, no problem. From what I understand, there's also another website called Easy Site. I haven't used it, but one of my colleagues speaks very highly of it. If you have any questions or concerns, please email me. I hope you're watching this video earlier in the week rather than Sunday, because it's late, and I'm probably not going to answer emails until Monday morning. Plus the fact we're almost at 30 minutes, okay? Now, there's a lot of materials this week that was masquerading as not a lot. I told you. Hopefully the rest is not going to be this long. As the weeks go on, I just rely on you to read more than I explain. So have a great week. Reach out if you need me, and I'll be looking forward to seeing where your ideas are with the exploratory essay. See ya.